Hi everyone, it's Teddy, and this is a little bit of a different video. I just wanted to come here and share my thoughts about being alone. Being alone isn't as bad as it seems. Being alone is really beneficial for a lot of people, and I think being able to be alone with yourself and your thoughts and who you are as a person is so fundamentally important for you and yourself and your future relationships. Not having to think of other people when making decisions, being able to be independent is so important. That gives you security, that protects your feelings when you do go into something in a relationship or with people or whatever it may be. You don't want to never be alone, because then when you get into things, you feel so dependent on all these different things, and we don't want that. We don't want codependency. But being able to live on your own and do things on your own and handle it and be just fine, you'll be just fine on your own. Realizing that and living through that will be so good for you. Obviously, I'm not saying like, oh, cut everyone off and isolate yourself. I'm just saying like having uncomfortable days where you're like, wow, it's just me, and maybe you really don't talk to anybody. And I think it makes you value yourself more. It gives more value to yourself, and that's important. That's so important. You can't be with other people if you don't understand your inherent value, because then those people can use you. Then those people can manipulate you. Then you can have that lack of trust to leave. But when you understand how valuable your mind is, your time is, your effort is, you're gonna be a lot less walked over by others and a lot less easily manipulated, and that's so important. That is so important. You know, everyone has fears of commitment, fears of new things, but I think that eliminates those fears, right? When you're so secure in yourself and in your value and who you are as a person, and you spend so much time alone with yourself, you really understand yourself, you really love who you are, because you can't ever leave yourself. You can't ever leave yourself. So you have to get comfortable with yourself, and you have to grow to understand and love yourself. And I think all of us have the ability to do that, because I think real love is being able to understand that someone's not perfect, because we all are, but loving them for who they are past their mistakes, or past, you know, any negative attributes, and really seeing them for all of the positives. And being able to do the same for yourself is so much more difficult, I feel like, for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't spend that time with themselves and really think about it. Like, I struggled with that, like, and that built up a lot of fear of like, now I'm like, oh, like, I don't ever want to be with someone again and feel like my feelings are dependent on how they perceive me. But I think I'm growing to learn that I don't really care. Even if I grow to love someone, if they start perceiving me in a negative light, or not even not the way I know I am, not the way I believe truly and deeply I believe who I am, then they aren't the one, and they aren't worth my time, and then I'd probably leave. I think you just have to sit with yourself and give yourself a little more credit, you know. The time I've spent reflecting, I've grown to love a lot of my traits. One trait being my ability to forgive and my open mind. I'm really open-minded, and I was a really forgiving person. I think you can love things that hurt you, right? Like, my forgiveness hurt me in the end, right? But it was still a beautiful attribute. Obviously, I'm not gonna ever let myself get to that point again where I'm forgiving anyone for, you know, actual harm, but I wouldn't let anyone's actions or words hurt me to that extent ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love myself, I'm starting to love myself so much that I don't think anyone's perception of me could do that to me again, which is good. We're getting there. We're getting even better. But back to the initial statement, even though my, that positive trait negatively impacted me, I can really take it for what it is. Like, I don't regret anything. I don't regret my actions that led me to get hurt, because in the end they were admirable actions. Love should be conditional, and the condition should be that they love you the same way back. I think, you give what people give back, or you shouldn't be putting in so much more effort than someone like into, and it should be like an agreement. And if both of y'all aren't putting in effort and it's like an agreement and it's a mutual understanding, you guys are both okay with it, then yeah, it's fine. But I don't think you should ever be just doing the absolute most for someone, all this and that, and they don't, and they clearly don't care. They clearly, and are like that with people, like giving all of their everything, even to people that really don't, deserve it in that moment. I think it's a beautiful trait, but that's why afterwards I feel like, especially if you were that type of person, you need to sit down and really reflect on yourself. Like, love the person you are. If that person couldn't appreciate who you were, okay, fuck them, you know what I'm saying? And sit there and love the person you were able to be, but don't be that person for just anyone. Sit there and appreciate the person you were being, but understand you will never let yourself be that person for someone like that again. Find someone who reflects everything that you love about yourself. But I think a wonderful way to avoid any of these problems is just being alone. Be alone. Be alone and think about you as a person. Be alone and spend time with yourself. Be alone and be like, wow, I'm actually really pretty. Be alone and understand, wow, like, do I put out the type of energy that I want back into this world? And if you do, that's wonderful. And if you don't, become the person you want to be. And growth. There's things that I definitely want to change about the person like I was. Like, I wouldn't ever, like, I would never put in energy like that for someone, or even feel insane and crazy and do any things I wouldn't typically do just to maybe feel a little comfortable because someone put you in such an extreme situation. Get out of there. I promise you it'll be all right. And I promise you, being alone sounds a lot scarier than it is. Because objectively, look at it. Would you rather be with someone who makes you feel, it could make you feel any type of way, horrible, terrible, good, bad, or you can be with yourself and you can objectively always be good to yourself? You have the choice. I don't have to beg someone. I don't have to beg myself to be good to myself. I can be good to myself. I can guarantee I will not hurt myself because I am in control of my own self. And you relying on others' acceptance and love and actions might just get you hurt, and it will get you hurt is what I'm saying. So and sometimes people don't even mean to, human beings fuck up all the time. So you need to like sit with yourself and be alone in order for you to avoid unnecessary pain. And it'll be uncomfortable at first, and then it'll be amazing because you control your own reality. You control your own private space. I control what I want to do with my time. I control how I want to time manage. I control where I go into. I control who I talk to. I control what I eat. I control literally everything about myself. And I control how I treat myself and how I think about myself. And that's so important. And when you are that secure, and when you get there and you feel like, okay, I understand all of these positives about me and I understand who I am as a person, and I won't ever, let someone ever make me feel like that again. And because you don't rely on others' thoughts of yourselves, you rely on your own thoughts of yourself. Then you might even radiate the right people in your life. And even then, their actions, and if they end up to be shitty and they end up being the person you didn't think they were, it doesn't matter, because you spent that time alone and you self-reflected and you understand who you are and you figure that shit out. So be alone. The longer you are alone, I promise you, the better your the trajectory of events in your life will fold out, in my opinion. And I don't mean like alone and self-pity, alone and like looking for someone. I mean like alone with self-growth and alone with self-love and reflection. And reflecting on the idea that the only actions that matter are your own. And everyone else's actions, you can choose if you want them in your life or not. And if you don't feel like they're deserving of the actions you're putting out, you can just leave, because you understand the type of energy you're putting out. You understand the inherent value of yourself. That is why being alone is so important for everyone, I think. Yeah. That was this whole video was just me kind of talking about it, because I thought maybe it'll like reach the right person in the right time, or maybe no one will watch it, but I just takes the advice, because it's helped me. I mean, I stream on Twitch every Wednesday 8 to 10 Central. Yeah, I'm a Twitch streamer, guys. I play video games. Don't know what this video is about. Don't know where this video came out of. Actually, I just like randomly post on here, and that's what I was feeling like posting today. And guess what? You have the choice to do whatever the fuck you want. Isn't that so cool? So be alone, bitch, and think about things. Love y'all.